Out of the Blue, proudly brought to you by San Remo. Another surprise!
Out of the blue.
You want that with fries?
Out of the blue. Come with me across the sea. On another view. We're gonna cook for you.
Nothing but blue skies.
Out of the blue.
You want some chili with those fries?
Out of the blue.
Hi and buongiorno and welcome to Out of the Blue. On today's show, we're going to take you on an Italian adventure right here in North Adelaide at L'Italy. One of the founders of L'Italy is Enzo from the Italian town of Padua, which is famous for its hot springs. But we're here to find out what brought Enzo and his passion for food to Adelaide. Enzo will show us how he cooks his special Genovese ragu.
This is the ragu napoletano, they call Genovese, for the people that doesn't like much tomato.
Also, we find out what makes the linguine seafood dish here so delicious.
In Italy we call fumetto di pesce. We make very easy, simple, because we want you to reply this recipe at home.
But first, let's meet Enzo and hear his story.
My mom and my dad, they met themselves in actually Africa, in Asmara, you know, after the Second War. Lots of Italians went there. My mother was from Emilia-Romagna and my father from Campania. And then when they come back in Italy, they went in this Abano Terme, and it's very famous from the spring of hot water. This water coming from the Dolomites travel underground and come up around 85 to 90 degrees. Then the hotel, they have a big container where they keep the mud, and the water run in the mud is start to develop some algae. Then the people that has been prescribed the mud therapy, they go in this room. There is a bed. You lie down on the bed, and he apply the mud to your body, cover you, and let you there for a few minutes. Then you have a shower, clean up your body, go in the bath, and have the ozone therapy. It's very incredible things. Stabilimento Termale is a big business, and when I was 26, I already was in charge. My father put me in charge of the hotel, yes. I didn't grow up in a house, I grew up in an hotel. I was going in the breakfast room for breakfast, in the restaurant for lunch. I never had like a house or a mother that cooking food for you, breakfast, things like that. All my life I grew up like that. That is my story, that is my passion for food and things that come out. And even if I never cooked when I was in Italy, then I became more and more passionate. And I started to cook for friends and things like that. And finally, when I came in Australia, that became like a necessity because, yes, my English, as you can say, is still very clumsy. And then I put myself behind the scene. Then I was looking after the kitchen, all the restaurants that I opened. I was always in charge of the kitchen because, of course, I can say that I have the Italian taste. You need that to understand your food. If it's in your memory, even if you maybe cannot remember the recipe, but you remember the smell, you remember the taste, you remember, the emotion of the food, and then you try to get this back. Sometimes you can, sometimes it's a little bit harder because maybe the ingredients are different, but yeah, definitely that is what I'm doing.
Don't go away.
Practically the ratio meat-onion is 1 kilo of meat, 2 kilos of onion. This sounds scary, but it's not.
We'll be back after the break to catch up with Michael, who finds out the secret to Enzo's famous ragu recipe. Enzo and his business partners also own Ruby Red Flamingo, another Italian restaurant in North Adelaide. Lauro tells Michael about the different styles of Italian eating.
Lauro, what is the difference between your two restaurants, Ruby Red Flamingo and L'Italy?
Well, the main difference is that Ruby's is, I like to think of it like a museum with art, and there's abundance of food. It's a sharing restaurant, sometimes chaotic, which is Italian. That chaos part of it is exciting, and it's very Italian. Compared to L'Italy, where we designed more on the Roman-style trattoria, where you could get your salamis and you can get your different types of wine from different regions in Italy. We didn't want to make it look too clean, if that's the word. We wanted to make it look a little bit more rustic. Maybe you come here and experience what Italy feels like when you go there.
And do you get a sort of a different clientele?
We get the same clientele because I think they're sort of keen and curious to see what we're doing over here.
What would be the most requested dishes here?
Well, definitely Linguine Mare Mare and the ragu.
So we all try and cook Italian dishes at home, but we can never seem to get them like a restaurant. Is there secrets or what is it?
Yeah, drink lots of wine while you're cooking and put a lot of passion into it. Put a nice Mario Lanza song in the background and that's it. That's what I do.
Hey Enzo, a little earlier I was talking to Varo and he was telling me about this Genovese ragu. Doesn't come from Genoa though.
No, it doesn't come from China. It's come from Naples. Very tricky, very confusing. Yes.
Is it an easy recipe?
It's easy, but take a long time. It's a slow cooking, but you'll be rewarded. Start with olive oil. Then we have the meat could be any meat that is good for slow cooking. Yeah, we using wang steak here, and you just put the meat in there, touch of salt.
So you're just browning that up a
Very
little?
simple dish, very easy.
And
You don't need many skill.
A little bit of
Little
salt?
salt, a little bit of pepper. Then after this, you put a little bit of celery, not much, see?
No.
A little bit of white wine that we have here. Let's reduce the alcohol quickly. When the alcohol is gone, put a little bit of tomato.
Oh, that's
Not
not a
much.
lot at all.
No, this is the ragu napoletano, which is called Genovese, for the people that doesn't like much tomato. That is why, instead of tomato, we have onion. Practically, the ratio meat-onion is 1 kilo of meat, 2 kilos of onion. This sounds scary, but it's not. Looks a lot of onion, but trust me, by the time this is cooking, will become very, very
Because you're
little.
anticipating, what, about 4 or 5 hours cooking?
Yes.
I've never seen so many onions.
You'll be surprised. This onion will disappear completely. Put a little bit of salt for the onion. Of course, this dish is very, very sweet. And then that's it.
That's it.
We cover. Of course, now the fire has to be very, very, very gentle.
See you in 5 hours.
Yeah.
It's hot in the kitchen.
Now there was a full pot there. You remember?
it was chock-a-block.
Let's see. Oh wow! See?
That is incredible.
Where's the onion?
That is amazing.
It's amazing.
Enzo, just one other little thing that's
Yes.
been bothering me. you
Yeah.
know. This is
Look at that.
Genovese ragu
Yes.
from Genoa.
From Naples.
Why is it called that? But it's a dish that you have in Naples. It's miles away.
Two-story. One, say, the chef surname was Genovese, and that the story I don't believe. The other one is a group of sailors from Genova living in the port of Naples. They developed this recipe that they called Genovese, because it was Genovese people cooking this.
So Enzo, what's next? The pasta?
The
Cooking
pasta,
that?
of course. Rigatoni.
And why did you use the rigatoni?
Rigatoni is probably the closest pasta for this dish that is ideal.
Okay, so you've got that in the pan ready for
In the pan, ready to go.
a little bit of butter.
A little bit of butter
Oh,
to
okay.
mantecare the
Yeah, yeah.
pasta. Okay, the pasta is now cooked and al dente, as it's supposed to be. Put a little bit of cheese, pecorino.
Oh, pecorino.
Uh,
If only you could be here to smell the aroma that's coming.
Okay.
Not only out of the pot, but now the combination.
Oh, yes. Let's go to serve this delicious. Okay.
Oh, that is amazing. Yeah.
Yes. And voila, rigatoni Genovese. Beautiful.
Don't go away. More delicious food to come.
I traveled in Australia many times before for holiday, different. And yes, I always love Australia very much in terms of style of life, space, you know. And in Italy, we always have terrorist things like that, you know. To go in the bank, you have to go through 3-door jewelry, same things, you know. Security, people with the machine gun at the airport, things like that. And I'm in Australia, and everything was open. People put the money in the milk bottle, empty milk bottle on the street, or take the paper and pay and get the change. I said, this guy, and I was so scared actually the first night I went to sleep because there was no security. I feel so exposed, you know, so in danger. Then finally I see this is an incredible country. This is fantastic, yeah. In '94, when I come back in Australia finally, after I sold my family business, and I started with Paesano in 1994, and I've been there for actually 13 years, till 2007. And then finally I start with Ruby Red Flamingo. And when you say Ruby Red Flamingo, there's nothing Italian in there, and was done on purpose. And Italy has been probably a project that has been well looked after, because we want to be Italian and do Italian food.
You know, there's always been a bit of mystery about the origins of pasta, but its ethnic roots long debated. There have been many different stories put forward, and the one most people seem to know is based on the myth of the writings of the 13th century explorer Marco Polo, that pasta was brought to Italy from China. It actually arose from a mix-up in Marco Polo's book, where he saw a tree with what he thought was spaghetti coming from it. Well, it wasn't. That was a sago palm. It certainly wasn't pasta. From the 13th century, references to pasta dishes like macaroni, ravioli, gnocchi, vermicelli crop up with increasing frequency across the Italian peninsula. Throughout the Middle Ages until the start of the 16th century, the pasta dishes that were eaten then were certainly nothing like the pasta dishes we eat today. Not only was the pasta cooked for longer, no pasta al dente, it was also mixed with ingredients combining sweet, savoury and spicy flavours. It was considered a dish for the wealthy, taking pride and place in aristocratic banquets during the Renaissance. But by the late 17th century in Naples, pasta was becoming the main staple of the common diet. Several things that have changed drastically over the time are the flavourings that are added to pasta. Sweetness has been replaced by savoury, sugar swapped out for vegetables. Then, at the beginning of the 19th century, tomatoes were added. For a long time, the Italians considered them too exotic. In fact, it wasn't until 1844 when the first recipe appeared that actually is the dish we know today, the spaghetti with tomato sugo.
After the break.
South Australia, of course. I believe that we have the best oil in South Australia.
Enzo cooks up his winning Linguine Mare Mare. Another very popular dish, which is close to my heart, especially my taste buds at Italy, is Linguine Mare Mare. But there is a secret to making it. And here Enzo is going to teach us today the secret to making this special Linguine Mare Mare. Enzo.
This is not really a secret, but let's say is a suggestion that in Italy we call fumetto di pesce. We make very easy, simple, because we want you to apply this recipe at home. Then we just have here the head already clean of the prawn, South Australian, of course, and the blue crab. We took off the meat and just we put a little bit of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, of course.
Italian, of course.
South Australian, of course. I believe that we have the best oil in South Australia. A little bit of butter to give a little bit of sweetness. Okay, I love this. This is the best part of the dish. All the flavor is in there. We toast a little bit.
Well, just to change colour, or just basically?
Yeah, let's change color, like when it starts to maybe to stick on the pan.
Now that's been cooking for 2 or 3 minutes.
Yes.
You can see the colour.
Good.
And I can smell the aroma, so
Perfect.
that's important.
That is the time to put a little bit of
Yeah.
white wine.
What's that, about a half a cup?
Yeah, half a cup.
Half a cup?
When you cannot smell the alcohol anymore, we're going to add a little bit of our vegetable stock.
Vegetable stock.
Yeah, there's a little bit of everything.
And how long?
15, 20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes.
You have to reduce the liquid of 1/3 at least.
Yeah. Well, that's the 15 minutes. Would you like me to hold that for you?
Thank you very much.
Oh, you can smell it. Look at that. And it's got the right colour too.
Yeah. Okay, now we put a little bit of tomato passata. But usually when we cook tomato, we always add a little bit of water.
Yes.
Instead of water, we're using the fish stock. And I add, because I like this, a little bit of cherry tomato.
Oh,
Just
the
2 or
cherry
3.
tomato, yeah.
They stay whole and they make a nice look on the dish and a little bit of acidity. So let's cook now for 15, 20 minutes at
Let
least.
it all combine,
At
yeah.
least, yes. Next step, we cook in the linguine. We usually open like that.
I like that.
You like
That's
that?
a bit of theatre. And how long will that take?
7, 8 minutes.
7, 8 minutes.
Beautiful.
And the next step is?
Next step is cooking the fish. And of course, start always
With olive oil.
olive oil. Then now we put the garlic and the shallot, a little bit of chili. I put a little bit of parsley even now.
Oh, you put it in now, yes.
Now, a little bit. And then I put again
And
at the
again.
end, okay? Yes. Okay, now we start with the anchovies.
And that's the beauty about anchovy, that they break up. You get that salty flavour.
Yeah, correcto. Then the fish take very, very little time to cook, of course. We start with the prawns. With the crab, we extract the meat. Okay.
Sea salt, I can see that was sea salt.
Pepper, of course. Even if there is chili, I like a little bit of pepper. Put a little bit of scallops.
Yeah, they don't take long at all.
No, no long at all. White wine. That's one that we didn't drink yet.
Oh, not yet, but we will, don't worry.
We will, yes. Let me try the pasta. Perfect, al dente, okay. And now let's put a little bit of this, not so much. Enough. Just enough. Again, parsley, of course, to finish. And some
basilico.
Basilico, yes. And then that's the linguine.
What's that, enough for 2 people that serve?
I
Or maybe
say
one?
so.
Kilo,
One very
it'll be
angry
one.
or 2. Let's see. This is actually another little different as we do here, because the anchovies and things like that, we do a little bit of lemon skin, of course, okay, lemon skin. Okay. This sauce tastes already like fish. And
Oh, I can smell it, you're right. I can smell it.
Okay, sorry, I make a little bit too big, but
So it won't
I'm
go to
sure
waste.
we're going
Oh,
to
don't,
eat
it won't be a
we will
problem.
always. Voila, linguine mare mare.
Grazie tanto, Enzo.
Grazie.
That is fantastic.
You can't.
Yes,
you
Mick,
can't
yeah.
go over to Italy. The next best thing's literally right here in North Adelaide. It's fantastic.
Mickey, and the pasta. The 2 different pastas we had.
I'd like to know where you actually intervened in making this.
It was understanding the brodo, which is the fumet, which is the stock, which enhances the flavour.
All right, I won't go into it,
No,
but thanks
but-
for joining us. It's
Hey,
been
Mickey.
fun. Cheers, cheers.
Salute. Right here in North Adelaide at L'Italy.
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 Italy.
L'Italy. Oh, okay. I got it now. L-I-T.
No, from Genova, from Naples.
Hey!
Hey, Dan.
Hey. Out of the Blue, proudly brought to you by San Remo.